Welcome to This Explainer. Today, we're dissecting the art of thinking clearly. Look, if you actually want to master the art of thinking clearly, you have to understand Rolf Dobelli. Because Rolf Dobelli didn't just write a book. He designed the art of thinking clearly as a mirror. Let's get right into the art of thinking clearly and break down exactly what shifts how you process your choices, your strategy, and your own mind.
You are treating confusion as a shortage of information. Just let that sit for a second. It's a false belief we all carry, isn't it? You think that if you just read one more article, get one more data point, or ask one more expert, the fog is going to clear. But that is not what's actually happening in your mind.
On one side, you have more options. You scroll, you compare, you bookmark, and you call this careful research, right? A noble pursuit of the absolute best path. But here's the dark truth. It's outsourced judgment. Your endless scrolling isn't some careful strategy. It is literally a mechanism for outsourcing your own judgment to the noise. You just keep piling on inputs so you don't have to make the hard call yourself. Like the quote says, your first clear answer may only be a clean hallway to the wrong room. See, clear thought isn't about finding a bright conclusion fast. It's not about that sudden aha moment that feels so incredibly comfortable and relieving. Real, robust thinking is about surviving the friction of a meticulously built frame. A thought is only clear when it survives the exact test you build for it.
Section 1. Motion without architecture. Our core problem as directionalist strategists is that we are in constant motion, but we lack architecture. We gather piles of evidence way before we've even defined the load-bearing question. And this brings us to the fluent story trap. It happens when a thought flows smoothly, your body relaxes, and your mind mistakenly calls that relaxation evidence. A clean, comfortable story lowers your mental pain, sure, but it easily mimics the truth. It traps you into trusting relief as proof. Listen, just because an idea sounds elegant and smooth doesn't mean it's actually valid.
Certainty wants comfort, but clarity wants contact. Your mind has this incredibly dangerous appetite for comfortable certainty. It wants the easy answer that protects its image. But true, logical strategy requires testing ideas against brutal friction. Clarity demands contact with reality, with counterarguments, and with stress tests. Ask yourself honestly right now, what decision are you avoiding with noble research? Think about the specific choice you are hiding from. You're building files, opening 50 tabs, downloading reports, but it's an impressive, ultimately hollow option-gathering exercise meant entirely to delay commitment.
A decision without an arch can hold no weight. Time, money, your own identity. These apply intense, physical gravity to the choices you make. A busy mind that lacks a strategic frame is going to collapse right under that real-world pressure. You can't just pile up facts on a crooked wall. You need an architectural arch to distribute the weight.
What if your research is not humility? What if it's just a costume for delay? I know it's incredibly tough to admit, but so often we pretend we're being thorough and humble by looking for more data, when really, we are just terrified of stepping through the door.
Section 2. The descent into friction.
This is where we upgrade our operating system. We have to stop treating cognitive biases as fun trivia for stupid people and recognize them as the rent paid by every operating human mind, because they return the absolute second you are under pressure. So use the bias inspection ritual as a pre-decision checklist. Before you commit, ask yourself, am I only seeing the survivors? Am I clinging to sunk costs? Am I borrowing false authority? You have to perform this strict ritual before the stakes get too high.
Picture an unfinished stone arch. Every single block is leaning inward. None of them can stand alone without falling, right? Well, your pieces of evidence are exactly like those stones. Without a central structure holding them in tension, they're really just a pile of rocks on the ground. Bias is not a stain on stupid people. Intelligence doesn't magically make you immune to bias. Honestly, it often just makes you better at defending your mistakes with better grammar. The keystone of your mental arch isn't gathering more information. The keystone is the hostile, uncomfortable question that your gathered evidence absolutely must survive to prove its worth.
So, what if clarity is not the absence of doubt? We're always chasing that feeling of 100% certainty. But true clarity is actually the right kind of doubt, deliberately placed and rigorously inspected before a commitment is ever made. It's about building the gate and testing it, rather than just walking blindly into the field.
Section 3. The decision turn.
This is where we shift from a passive gathering phase into an active physical gate to address our emotional debt. Past effort is not future evidence. That is the stark reality of the sunk cost fallacy. The time, the energy, the money you've already invested, that is merely an emotional invoice. It is not a valid strategic signal for what you should do next. You have to learn to reprice the decision from today forward and cut that dead weight early.
You need to establish a strict decision hygiene practice. Step 1, write the frame. Step 2, write the opposite frame. Step 3, name the missing failure case. Perform this exact physical practice before the big meeting, before the major purchase, before you hit send on that email. Give your mind a rhythm that your desires didn't choose, and keep the easy story out. I used to call indecision careful thinking. It's a private reality for so many productivity addicts. We build incredible files, we create massive spreadsheets, but we never actually build judgment. We just carry knowledge around like heavy luggage, but we never actually leave the station.
The mistake was making certainty the sign of progress. You never needed more stone, you didn't need another article or another piece of content. You just needed the form, the architectural arch that could finally bear the weight of your choices. Certainty is just a feeling. Structure is what actually holds up under pressure.
Section 4. Clearer thought, less certainty.
Because clear thinking is never the end of doubt. It's not some magical state of knowing everything perfectly. Rather, it is a permanent, disciplined cleaning practice for the room where your choices form. Deep dive the philosophy at upgowise.com, not as a product, as a practice.
Less certainty, clearer thought. The architecture is now in place. The only question left is, what structure are you going to build with it today?